Lamelo Ball is one of the NBA's most fascinating players right now, and that's not an exaggeration. On paper, he's having a breakout season, averaging 30 points per game with 7 assists. Those numbers alone jump off the page, right? But stats don't tell the full story with Lamelo. He's not just a scorer, he's a showman, an eye-test darling, and one of the league's biggest enigmas. Watching him play is like watching a highlight reel in real time. Flashy plays, deep threes, no-look passes, and yes, some head-scratching moments too. But how good is Lamelo Ball actually? Is he a future MVP, or is he more of a high-volume scorer whose efficiency doesn't quite match the hype? Let's dive in. First off, Lamelo's scoring numbers are impressive. 30 points per game is no joke. But let's break it down. His usage rate is through the roof at 40%, which is top tier in the league and significantly higher than last season. The Hornets' offense runs entirely through him, and he's taking full advantage of that freedom. He's a gunning-type scorer, someone who doesn't hesitate to pull up from anywhere. Whether it's a contested three, a deep floater, or a one-footed fadeaway, Lamelo has the greenest of lights. But is that scoring as impactful as it seems? His true shooting percentage sits at 56%, which is league average. That's not bad for someone carrying such a massive offensive load, but it's not elite either. For comparison, someone like Stephen Curry is often well above league average in true shooting, despite taking similarly tough shots. So while Lamelo's scoring is good, really good, it's not at that game-breaking level yet. And then there's the question of volume. A lot of Lamelo's improvement in scoring this year comes down to sheer shot attempts. He's taking 22 to 23 shots a game, a jump from previous seasons. The efficiency hasn't really improved, it's the volume that's driving his scoring numbers. One area where Lamelo has clearly grown is his ability to get into the paint. He's attacking the rim more often, which is great, but the results are mixed. His finishing at the rim is still just okay, sitting at 56%, which is tied for the best of his career, but still ranks in the 36% among point guards. That's not exactly elite company. What's saving him is his floater game. Lamelo is one of the most efficient scorers from floater range in the NBA this season, and that's been a huge addition to his offensive arsenal. He's using it to keep defenses guessing when he gets into the paint, and it's allowing him to be more effective as an inside-the-arc scorer. But here's the thing. To truly elevate his game, he needs to become more reliable at finishing through contact. Drawing fouls at the highest rate of his career is a step in the right direction, but there's still room for improvement. Lamelo's playmaking is what initially put him on the map. At 6 feet 7 inches, his combination of size and court vision is almost like a LeBron type, and he's capable of delivering some of the most jaw-dropping passes you'll see in a game. But this season, his assists are down, and his playmaking isn't as dominant as it once was. Why? Because he's focusing more on scoring. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Players evolve, and Lamelo is showing he can carry a heavier scoring load. But he hasn't yet found that balance between scoring and playmaking that separates the greats from the all-time greats. Think of players like Luka Doncic or James Harden in his prime. They could dominate as scorers while still being elite creators for their teammates. Lamelo hasn't reached that level yet. Now, let's talk context. The Hornets aren't exactly stacked with talent. Brandon Miller, their rookie, has shown flashes but has been inconsistent. Beyond him, Lamelo's supporting cast is a mix of role players and unproven talents. This lack of offensive firepower means Lamelo has to do more, both as a scorer and a creator. It's easy to imagine that in a better situation, with more shooting and secondary playmaking around him, Lamelo's efficiency and overall impact would skyrocket. But that's all hypothetical for now. What we're seeing this season is Lamelo carrying a massive load on a team that doesn't give him much help, and that context matters when evaluating his performance. Lamelo's size and skill set put him in an archetype that includes some of the greatest players in NBA history: LeBron, Luka, Harden, and others. But does he belong in that conversation yet? Not quite. Those players mastered the balance between scoring and playmaking, and their decision-making on the court was second to none. Lamelo, for all his talent, is still figuring that out. He's also not the type of player who manipulates defenses to the same degree. When you watch someone like Harden in his prime, every possession felt like a chess match, with Harden dictating the moves. Lamelo isn't there yet. He's more reactive, relying on his instincts and creativity rather than a calculated moves. So, how good is Lamelo Ball actually? He's really good, but he's not a superstar yet. He's a high-volume scorer with elite shot creation skills, but his efficiency and playmaking still have room to grow. He's carrying a massive load on a mediocre team, which makes his production all the more impressive. The truth is, Lamelo is a player who thrives on potential. He's already doing things that very few players his age can do, but there's still a lot of what-if surrounding him. What if he gets a better roster? What if he finds that balance between scoring and playmaking? What if he improves his finishing at the rim? For now, Lamelo Ball is one of the most exciting players to watch in the NBA, and that alone is worth celebrating. But to truly join the ranks of the league's elite, he'll need to take another step forward. And given his talent, it's hard to bet against him. If you made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one.